Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jewish Music Platform. This is Tuvia Kopstein, and I am thrilled to welcome you back. Now, part of what we're doing on the Jewish Music Platform is we're going on a journey to discover emerging artists that you may have never heard of before. I can pretty much rest assured that you've never heard of our guest today, Adriel. Now, Adriel is making beautiful and completely original music that is definitely from the heart. Let's listen to this track called Shema Kolenu. That's one of my personal favorites.
Shema Kolenu, Hashem Elokeinu, Chus v'rachem Aleinu. Shema Kolenu, Hashem Elokeinu.
It's a shame to have to interrupt that. It's so calming. Anyway, you can listen on your own afterwards, but we hope you enjoy this interview with Adriel.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Tuvia, Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Adriel, how are you?
Aleichem Shalom. Thank you so much for having me. It was exciting.
Nice to have you here in the studio all the way from Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, exactly. Where are you now?
So we're in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh,
And
Detroit.
They say Detroit over here.
Yeah. One of my chavrusas is from Detroit. He says Detroit.
Who's that?
David Silver.
Okay.
Oh, David Silver. Okay.
You know him?
Holy Jew.
A very holy Jew, yeah.
So you,
I've learned a lot from
so
him.
we're excited to have you here. I was speaking to my buddy Alex Sharg a couple weeks ago about the podcast.
Oh,
He
yeah.
said, you got to have Adriel on the podcast. I want to talk about your name as well, because it's Adriel, or Adriel is a new name for me. I haven't heard it before. But I just want to say that I was in the car on the way home from work. I pressed play on the Spotify, heard a couple of tracks, and it was so unique. The first thing that stuck out to me was the steel drums. You will hear, guys, listeners, when you listen to Adriel, you will hear things that you will not hear anywhere else. And I felt like through listening to your music, I got to know you a little bit. It's so soulful. And later on, maybe we'll talk about Shema Kolenu. But today I listened to it, and I think at 1 minute and 40 seconds, you have that drop. And then it goes, we'll talk about it. We're just like, it's silent. And there was like, I wasn't expecting it. And it was just really so beautiful. We'll talk about your tracks. We'll talk about your story. Welcome, Adriel. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, so Adriel, please, we'd love to hear what's your story. What's your Jewish story? I know about you that you're an alumnus of Machon Shlomo, where I went to yeshiva 20 years ago, and 19 years ago maybe, and so that means that you have to have an interesting story. You live in Israel, you're from Phoenix already. That's interesting. You're making music that's totally unique. That's interesting. So start from the beginning. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're already family from Machon Shlomo. So I was always kind of looking for more in a way, spiritually, and kind of a bit of a truth seeker, and just looking for avenues into spirituality as long as I could remember. So just having a streak of that. I think my parents instilled a bit of that yearning in us and gave us a beautiful foundation of a love for our roots and where we come from. And they came from Russia to Israel to the US, and we had a certain like hamishness growing up, even without necessarily the observance and all that. So but we would light candles on Friday night and build a sukkah. That was our claim to fame. We would go to a little part of the town that had bamboo bushes and so all of that kind of fed into New Jersey, in suburban New Jersey.
New Jersey, okay.
But in a kind of a waspy town that doesn't have really any Jewish life. It's near Jewish towns, but
What's it called?
Ridgewood. And so at some point, I think my kind of yearning for more in terms of spirituality and meaning and connection led me to be really curious about other religious traditions and finding out more about first kind of Buddhism, and then I was interested in Islam, and a lot of like interfaith and peace building was inspiring me, and that's what I was trying to do and work in. And at some point, it becomes a little less academic, and you want to ask yourself, like, what do I want to do with my life? Not just how does the world fit together and wanting a world that has unity of different kinds of people, but also my life has to look a certain way. And I don't know that I really want to be a collage. Like, I want to be whole in who I am and where I come from, and maybe that's actually the best way that we can create a world of unity, is actually by being fully myself and being truly connected to where I come from and who I am and my Jewish self. So I started asking a lot of questions and talking to people and just reaching out to whoever I could reach out to. And I was working in Boston, starting to work in a mediation and conflict resolution organization. Yeah, after university, actually, I got to Harvard Divinity School to learn about religious studies in an academic way.
For those smart folks, okay, and Harvard, okay.
I didn't belong there. I was, first of all, Harvard Divinity School is kind of its own little thing, and it's beautiful. It's a great place, but I was a little bit of a fish out of water there. But I made it work. I took some Hebrew classes and like enjoyed it, and that was actually while I was there, I was starting to ask some of these questions, and it was starting to seep into my music a little bit too. But anyway, at some point I started working, and I was kind of tired on a Friday afternoon and just sort of wandered into Harvard Square. I just knew I needed to go for a walk, like to walk to Charles River. And then I remembered that Harvard Hillel is right there, and I hadn't really spent much time there. And so I kind of wandered in. It was Friday afternoon, and I started hearing davening upstairs. I had never gone to the Orthodox Minyan before. I had been studying religion, and I hope he's all right me telling this. It was Rabbi Jack Cohen, who is an Or rabbi, super inspiring person, and he was standing in the back, and I kind of sat down in that section, heard him sort of harmonizing soulfully, and afterwards we started talking, and he invited me. He said, like, do you have a place for the meal? I said, like, I don't have any plan. Like, so I went with him and had a wonderful experience at a Shabbos meal by him, and we talked until actually like pretty late into the night. There was someone else there who was kind of challenging him on big questions, and I got to hear some of his responses, and I sort of chimed in a little bit. And yeah, it was it planted a seed for sure, and like kind of opened up my vision of what a Jewish life can look like, and what a Jewish perspective could be of like humility and passion. And it was just super refreshing. So I started learning a little bit with him, and then with his good friend, another rabbi, Rabbi Yoni Genger, unbelievable mentor and Rav to a lot of us. So yeah, became a proud disciple of him, and just learning with him a lot and growing. And so that was kind of the Jewish journey. At some point, it became clear that it was so important. I mean, there's so much to go into, but there was so much learning that became so important to me that I just needed to go spend some time in yeshiva. I thought it would be 1 year, then it was 2, and now 3. So, and yeah, all along, music has been a huge part of it, and it was only natural. Some people, I don't know what, some people maybe their main hobby is like wrestling or something, so it's a little hard when you become Baal Teshuvah to like integrate that. But for me, playing guitar and singing is like
And are you a musician, or Are you a musician or just the composer of the songs?
Oh, so both. Yeah, I write the songs, and then I'm playing on those tracks that you've probably heard. So I'm playing guitar and singing.
What did you do with music before you started getting interested in discovering your Judaism?
Right. So yeah. So the parallel kind of music journey is that I grew up. My family also super supportive. They really wanted us to play music growing up, and my older brother is a real composer and musician, and we would go to lessons together a little bit. We would go to different music programs together, and I was always trying to be as cool as him and kind of follow in his footsteps. I learned a little piano and violin growing up, and then I got really excited about percussion, and my parents were supportive, so I started learning percussion, doing jazz drums, and I was in the jazz band and everything, and that was my thing. Like I was really excited about jazz and drums, and I had a director who was really tough, and it was not it just lost the. I just was losing the joy of it, and I felt like I was in high school, but I just felt like music is not supposed to be like that, and so I just quit, and I started. We had a guitar from Israel. It's the same guitar that I play now. It's the same guitar on all those recordings. It's a little classical guitar. Yeah, it's a little simple Yamaha classical guitar, and we had it in our house. I started playing it, and I just felt like I'd always been a creative type. Like I always just making up melodies. Even when I was like sitting down, I was supposed to be practicing scales. I would just start writing my own little melody. But so yeah, once this happened, I just kind of started writing my own songs, and then it came. Yeah. So that was like singer-songwriter stuff. There was a lot of different music I was listening to at the time, like Ben Harper, who's a songwriter who I really love. Yeah. Oh, great.
Yeah, big time.
So yeah, I was listening to that type of stuff, and Sting and U2 and all those kinds of bands, and I just wanted to write music and kind of singer-songwriter style. And I started playing in coffee shops and cafes, and wrote a little mini musical in high school with a friend that was fun. And then it was just always it was called Stew. It was about it was sort of it was like a West Side Story type of thing, but for inanimate objects. Like the meat and the vegetables in the stew pot.
Okay, so Stu is like a student, like a chol, not a guy named Stuart.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Sounds entertaining. Very good. Okay, so now I'd love to this is the most interesting part. You're interested in your Judaism. You're coming from all this musical background, this spiritual background. Now you're in yeshiva, like a very intense how do we say it?
What are you saying?
An intense experience where you're learning Torah basically the whole day, and you have your music, and now has it come together into the project that you just put out, and like you're meeting musicians while you're in Jerusalem, and these musicians are the ones on your EP, and is that tell us how that came together?
And then also, Adriel, please tell us how the steel drums got in there.
Yeah,
because that's very different.
It was actually the music actually came together when I was in the process of coming to yeshiva. So it was kind of early on in the journey in a way, because I was inspired and I was learning, but I hadn't really gotten to yeshiva when I wrote those songs. So in a way, maybe that's like what makes them feel very alive, because I was excited about everything, and hopefully still am, but there's a certain quality to like those, those initial sparks of like just really feeling like this intense call. Like I really want to reorient my life a little bit. And so I think that's probably what comes through. And since then I can speak about that, like what the music has been like since then. I'm actually really excited about a lot of the music that I just haven't put down in a recording project yet, but so that was like a certain chapter, of like discovering and exploring and really finding kind of this Jewish path in a new way. People who were inspiring me and texts that were inspiring me and speaking to me. And I just didn't even want to write any of my own lyrics anymore. It was the first time I was like, this is just amazing. Like there's just so much here and it's been in my backyard and I just want to sing it. Like it's the, and I didn't have like commentaries. I didn't have like a rabbi explain to me these texts, but I just felt like there was this intangible, intrinsic meaning to just singing text from Tanakh. And then of course the specifics of certain texts that spoke to me for different reasons. So,
Right, so some of your lyrics are not from Tanakh. They're from like some obscure places, right?
yeah. So some of them, right. Yeah. So that was the other thing. At that time, I was also like, I still had a little bit of a cholent of like different influences and different things that had kind of excited me. So, right. That's true. It was, that record ended up being a combination of things. So, yeah, it was a poem that in a Hebrew class that I took, I had this amazing Hebrew teacher. She was just so amazing. And she would give us these poems that we had no business learning. They were like way above our level. And it was her way of inspiring us, like what we could do, I think it was awesome. It probably helped me a lot to feel like I could have a connection to language, and to believe in myself, so it was great. And that poem is just beautiful. It's about like, the changing seasons and, Shlomo Ibn Gabriel. So yeah, I don't know if right now I wouldn't like turn to that, but, at the time it was great.
So let's talk about the music. Yeah, let's talk about the so the project. Most of these songs that on your EP that you recently released are from before coming to yeshiva. Is that correct?
Yeah, all of them were recorded and written before I got to yeshiva, and then I got there in the midst of it. So I did all the vocals in Jerusalem, actually, but all the instrumentation and everything we did in Boston, in a studio there. An awesome group of people, and even that, I mean, the people who were part of it. It was a really eclectic mix. Like the guy who plays the steel drums, I met him in a music library. I was doing a little music project for a film, and so I needed to use, this like music lab. So I went in there. I saw a guy who had some interesting looking drums, and I played percussion. I'm like, I get excited about that. So I started talking to him, and he's from Trinidad and Tobago, like a young guy. And, yeah, incredible. And we would get together, play a little bit, and it just occurred to me like this would be perfect. Let's combine forces. So,
Wow. I'm not going to talk more about steel drums, but like that's just amazing. Those drums, they're just such a unique sound. You know what I mean?
There are many unique sounds on this album. Adriel, what is the album called again? The EP?
Shuvi.
So this is available. Anyone can find this on Spotify. And do you have it in another place besides the normal streaming networks?
So there's 2 songs that are on YouTube. One is Moderni.
The video, I saw the video for Moderni, right? Is that was done by, is that Itai? Who made that video?
Hershey Suffren. Yeah, a good friend, amazing animator, and yeah, and then he also made it a really creative video for Shema Kolenu. Since I've been in yeshiva, I haven't really done such a good job with publicity and everything, but that video I'm really proud of. It's I don't know how he did it. It's like unbelievable, and I think it really fits the song. So yeah, there's a video for Shema Kolenu, and yeah, so that's the I was going to say that in terms of it's really nice. It's affirming that you guys that you're both kind of moved by the sounds themselves, and that it sounds different, because I think that was something that really motivated me to do all this. Like, there's the need to have music which affirms our Jewish roots. We need that. We need music that comforts and feels familiar, and that feels like, I don't know, kind of takes us back, But at the same time, I think we also need music that illuminates new pathways, new branches, and kind of awakens some Jewish imagination. We need that. We need a Jewish imagination, and for all of us to feel like it's fresh and alive, and every day we feel like, that's Modeh Ani, right? Like, it's every day we wake up and feel like.
I was about to say that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk in a minute, but with Modeh Ani, I feel like when I listen to it, I got a deeper depth into Modeh Ani, because it starts off like the happy major, and then it goes to Rabbah, the minor.
Yeah, exactly.
And then back to the major. It's like the happy wake up in the morning, and then like the depth and the gratitude, a little emotional, and then back to the major. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The major, and then to the minor, and then back to the major. Wow. And it was just, I'm back to you, Adriel. But
can I interject? I want to say that listening to this music, I felt it had a special power because, and it still has that power, because it sounds like I can feel the freshness and enthusiasm in your voice. Like that's really it's and it also, I think perhaps the power is coming from the fact that you're at the beginning of the journey, really, of the, you're definitely 3 years ago when you write, or maybe 3 years ago plus, going back further, when you're writing this music, like you haven't been totally integrated as you perhaps are now, and as you consider yourself now, and everything is fresh and new, and it really comes out, and all the influences that you're bringing in from beforehand are going into this music, and it's not really a reaction, or this is my version of Modeh Ani. Like, I've heard 20 other versions that are out there. Like, this is like, I've never heard anybody sing Modeh Ani, and this is how I and I'm Adriel, and this is how I see it, and this is how I relate to it. So that's it's very powerful. But thank you for making this music.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I think it's something that we all, I hope to continue to like harness that sort of heart-throbbing enthusiasm every day of like, wow, like what a gift, and also that, this is also Modeh Ani, like that Hashem is waiting for us, like each one of us. It's not like, we're just kind of helping move the conveyor belt along. It's like, no, he is like waiting for us to wake up and do it, and like get on, take the surfboard out and like really ride the waves. Like, he needs it. He needs us to create the waves and create the art.
Are those the words Rabba Munasacha, right? Is that what it means?
He has faith in us. Like, he believes in us. We can do it. Yeah.
Rabba Munasacha, great is your faith in us.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not exactly. It's not just our emunah. It's like God has emunah in us. Yeah, that inspires me a lot. I don't know. So I hope to like keep it alive, and also use music to convey that sense of like, this is our role and our zchus to be partners in creation every day, and so music like embodies that so beautifully. Yeah.
So tell us about what you're creating now. Now that you're in Yerushalayim, you live in Yerushalayim.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you're not right now, but when you're not in America, you're in Yerushalayim. And where are you learning yeshiva now?
Torah or.
Okay, very nice. I was also there.
Oh yeah.
For a little,
wow.
Yeah. Tell us about how the music you're creating now. Is there any difference in what you're doing now from what you did before you came to Israel?
So probably the pronunciation of the words sounds a little more yeshivish. But honestly, I don't think the style has really changed. Yeah. I don't think all that much has changed in terms of the style or the process, and just trying to make new melodies all the time. And
did you find some kindred spirits in Yerushalayim? You found some people that you can make music with?
Yeah, a little bit. I haven't really done so much collaborating yet, but definitely, like a good friend in yeshiva who's amazing, and then people who just inspire me. There's the Tias family.
Yes.
Yeah, just
the drummer.
Yeah.
Percussion.
He's a real inspiration.
I did
And
a
their whole
project with
family.
him.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
We have to speak to him. We want to get him on the podcast.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, he's the best. Yeah, I've been just making a lot of different melodies, and also the rabbi who is the Baal Tefillah at Machar Shlomo, Rabbi Arbach, is inspired me so thoroughly. It's like just hearing his tefillah every day is, you just want to start singing those songs. So
him too. We want to get him on the podcast talking about his Majitzer, Rosh Hashanah. Yeah, we want to.
now that you're talking about people who inspire you, in the music you like today, are there, today's composers that you like, or musicians today? I would say, the CDs that we have, no CDs, but who do you listen to on Spotify today? Whose music do you appreciate when you're getting ready for Shabbos? Who's playing in the background?
I sort of came late to Mordechai Ben David, and
yeah,
I just can't let go. I don't know. That's
interesting because that's like a different style music.
I love it. I find him to be the best.
He's amazing. He is the king.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
what's
your favorite work of his?
The Kumsitz album. The Kumsitz album. I could just listen to that like for weeks. I don't know. I just can't get enough of that. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, there's a lot of others, but I would put him at number one. And yeah, just always trying to find new things to write about, and I can share with you guys some drafts that I have, but I haven't really gotten into the studio recently. So hopefully soon there'll be another project on the horizon.
Adriel, of the new stuff that you have that nobody can access right now, can we ask you just turn down your mic a little bit and sing us something of the new stuff, or if you have your guitar to play something for us?
I don't know if I really have anything offhand that I can just. It's a little hard for me to sing without playing guitar. So
just as a preview, what are the words of what you're thinking to send us?
So it's from Tehillim. It's Lechuvanim. It's from Tehillim Lamed Daled, I believe. I think that's what it is.
So it's on Shabbos, right? Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It's Pesukei Zimmer and Shabbos. Lechuvanim Shimuli. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember it all offhand, but that's the. Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Adriel, do you know Rav Mo? Do you know Moshe Friedman?
Yeah, also Machon guy. Yeah.
When we spoke to him, we had him on the podcast.
Oh, cool. Wow.
We spoke to him, and he told us about this very interesting idea that he has, because he's out there in outreach, working for HUK.
Mm-hmm.
So he had this whole plan that the music is not the end game. The music can open up somebody to the depth that there is in Yiddishkeit and Torah.
Yeah.
And then following that, he wants to create a whole system where if you like this, then listen to 2 minutes about the topic. And if you like the 2 minutes about the topic, listen to an hour about the topic.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about how music can be used to open up people to ask questions and
Totally.
get interested?
Totally. It's interesting. I think for whatever, I 100%, and that's amazing that he's doing that. For whatever reason, I think my style would be a little bit less literal. Like I don't know that I would construct some kind of like a pathway from this song, which is about X, a shir, which is also about X. Like, I don't know that I would really have be as linear. My style maybe would be just that I think that something about music and hopefully creating some of these original melodies and can awaken a Jewish neshama and a Jewish imagination. There used to be Rav Gershenfeld told a story once that Rav Ruderman and Rav Schwab during World War II would have a dream chavrusa, because it was like such dark times, and the only way that they felt they could like stay sane and connected and motivated was to go for a walk and just talk about what their dreams are and what they hope for and wish for and can envision. And Rav Ruderman like expressed that his dream was that Ner Yisrael would be more, hundreds of Bacharim, and that came true. And I just think that the Jewish imagination is so crucial, and we need to awaken that sense of dreaming. And so, yes, like shiurim and everything, like that's the ikr. Like learning Torah is the ikr, but there's so much else that kind of allows for that in a person's life. And so I would kind of want to create stuff that allows for it, that paves the way in a person's heart and a person's imagination to feel like I want to walk this path now. I want to walk in the path of Torah, and then they'll find the well springs of real Torah along that way. But to be motivated to walk, I think that's what music can do. And I've thought a lot about creating. Prince of Egypt was good, but I think we need a new Jewish musical. So I thought about that a lot as a way of reaching people.
Very good. Okay, amazing, Adriel. We have to stop here, but it was amazing that you gave us your time, and we really appreciate it. We love the music you're creating, and we're looking forward to hearing what's next. And it's very special. You can take your whole self and put it into your the Jewish self.
Yeah, and I know I know our listeners are really gonna appreciate hearing your music, and not only regular folk, but musicians will really appreciate your music. That I believe that when you listen to your music, there's always another level, another layer of depth in the music and the arrangements that will be very much appreciated by musicians as well.
And in the words.
Yeah.
And when the music brings out the words, that's the words are infinitely deep because they're the infinite Torah. So that's.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is amazing that you're doing it, and I'm looking forward to listening to everything else you're doing.
We hope you enjoyed that beautiful interview with Adriel, such a beautiful Jew, as much as we did. And now a special treat for you. Adriel sent me a song, and it's in demo version. It's called Karov. It's probably not available anywhere else yet, if you're hearing this around the time that we're putting it out. And if you like the Jewish Music Platform and you want to hear more of it, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Tell your friends about it. And you can send me any suggestions or comments or criticisms to ravtuvnetwork@gmail.com. RAVTUV network@gmail.com. Until next week, thank you.
לכוונים שימולי לכוונים שימולי או שימולי לכוונים שימולי עיני השם אל צדיקים עיני השם אל צדיקים עיני השם אל צדיקים עיני השם אל צדיקים קרוב השם לנשברי לב קרוב Hashem lenishberei lev karov, karov, karov. Lechuvanim, shimuli, shimuli. Lechuvanim, shimuli. Lechuvanim, shimuli, shimuli. Lechuvanim, shimuli. Ve'aznav El Shavasam, El Shavasam, Ve'aznav, El Shavasam, Ve'aznav, El Shavasam, El Shavasam, Ve'aznav, El Shavasam. Karov, Karov Hashem, Nishberei. Lenishberei lev karov, 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 karov Hashem. Lenishberei lev karov, karov, karov. Lechuvanim, shimuli, shimuli. Lechuvanim, shimuli.